Okay.
You can't be successful in any business without your heart being in it. You know, and my heart was in making a difference, you know, because I'm from St. Louis. I love St. Louis. And when I came back and I seen my neighborhoods have been devastated, the greatest opportunity that I had from being from here, I remember every house that had every block with a house on it. And every house on that lot had a family in it. And I remember the mom and pop stores. And I remember the parks that we played in. I didn't remember the vacant houses, dilapidated. I didn't remember the vacant lots. I didn't remember the abandoned schools. So what my goal was, one is to help rebuild the communities as they were. I had vision of remembering where they were and where they could be. A lot of people seeing them as they were, and so they couldn't see where they came from. So people, when I would say, they would call me, Mary, can you help me, can you help me? I was like, yeah, because I knew where my communities came from. So I was committed with the people who stuck and stayed to help it become that again. And so what I did is I walked in with my heart and my knowledge, because what I had done when I got into real estate is I didn't walk in and say, okay, this is the way y'all do it, so this is the way I'm going to do it. Because when I first got in real estate, it scared me, because I got into it because I was trying to buy a home for me and my children. And I didn't have knowledge of real estate. And it was one of the hardest things I ever did, because being a woman, getting into the field and not having knowledge. I was a divorced mother of 3 children. The seller tried to sell the house from up under me. I'm living in the house and he got people coming in trying to see the house, even though I got a contract on it. So a friend of mine was a real estate broker. He gave me a partial scholarship. So I had to go to school at night, getting my real estate license while I'm working a full-time job. Divorced mother of 3 children. Now this job I was working was not the job I had worked for 15 years, because I had gotten laid off from that job. I was divorced. I was a region director of admissions over private colleges. Got laid off, couldn't get back in my field, ended up having to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy in '89. Because when you've ever been at the top of your field and there's a recession going on, they can take and hire 5 college kids for what they hired you for. So it was a very depressing time, but God was good. He ended up kicking me off into a profession that I never knew I would be in. I ended up working with an organization that was like an activist organization. It was like going back to Dr. Martin Luther King times, where I became an activist, working with an organization, setting up actions, where we did actions on banks. And what do we want? Bank loans. When do we want them? Now. You know, because the interest rates was real high, and I'm the one set up the actions. I'm the one that got the people, 80 people, we'd get on a bus, and we went and took over the banks in Clayton. Here we is over in the Commerce Bank, going all in the CEO's office, taking over his office, locking ourselves up to columns and stuff with chains. I mean, it was cool. Police coming in and everything. We got the bank all, no business could occur. We did it to all different banks. And what we want is the banks to come and talk to us and reduce those interest rates, which were double rates. No working class person could afford them, and bring some of them guidelines down, because everybody didn't have a visa. Everybody didn't have a yacht. Working class people wanted fixed rates, no junk fees, you know, and make them affordable. I remember when we took over the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is the one that set interest rates. And it was three bus loads of us. And what do we want? Bank loan interest rates. What do we want them now? Lower them interest rates. We went and took over the Federal Reserves. Me right in front. 80 of us. Jeans, t-shirts. At that time I had my braids working down, really looking like a militant. And we went in there. What do you want? Bank loan interest rates. What do you want? Lower them now. And we go in there trying to get up in the elevator, all right? Because we gonna go up in the CEO office there. Now, if anybody know anything about where it says Federal Reserves, it's federal. You ain't supposed to be going up in the Federal Reserve now. Well, what happened then is the police didn't come. The federal police came. And here we got ourselves all chained to each other, chained on the collar, and we still trying to get up in that office. We trying to get up in that elevator. Well, who came to see us? The federal police with their rifles. Do you think we moved? Hell no, we ain't moved. We was afraid to get shot if we moved. But we stood there and steady hollered. But the awesomeness of it, it reminded me of Malcolm X. It was a beautiful time in my life where I was able to give back. And that led me into what I'm doing today. Into real estate, purchasing my home, which I didn't think I could because I had filed that bankruptcy. They helped me get my credit together. Helped me basically. I ended up getting into real estate because I said, God, if I get the knowledge to be able to help to purchase my home for my 3 children, I would make sure I took that knowledge and make sure no one ever experienced what I did. And I did it. I got my real estate license and I passed the test. I purchased a home for me and my children. I went and got in real estate, and I've always been the kind, you always want to go with the best. And at that time, Gundaker Realtor was the #1 real estate company in St. Louis. And I wanted to sell in the city because I was from the city. And I didn't want to go to the county. Well, at that time, Gundaker only had 1 office in the city. And that was on Loughborough and Hampton. St. Louis Hills, Holly Hill. Well, in 1992, Gundaker didn't have that many. Holly Hills really didn't have African Americans over there in St. Louis Hill and Holly Hill. Matter of fact, when I walked in that office, let's say I was the only little chocolate spot that walked in over there. At that time, I think Gundaker maybe had, out of the 2,400 agents, maybe 5 African Americans. And in that office, out of about 190 agents, I was the only one. And in that area, African Americans, they didn't go that far south. Well, when I walked in that office, I walked in there with my license, and when I told them I set up the appointment, see, I'm very professional talking. You don't know who I am on that phone. I walked in there with my suit, still had my French braids, and I walked in with my presentation, whether my application and my resume and everything showing I'm beyond qualified. And they said, when I walked in the door, all eyes looked up and they bugged. And I walked in and I said, hi, I'm MaryOne. And I said, no, I was Mary Johnson then. I said, I'm Mary Johnson. I have an appointment today. And they said, you do? I said, yes, I have an appointment with Tim Myers. And they said, I was like, just a minute, because Tim was a broker. And they told me to have a seat. And I could see how they all turned around, came up, kind of like, was looking at me, trying to act like they not looking at me. And they said, Tim will be right with you. And Tim came into the office where I was sitting. And it was like he was kind of doing his best to try to talk me out of it. But the law said my credentials showed I was way qualified for the position. And of course I got it. I was kind of, as I was there, kind of being persuaded not to do it. And of course I did it. And I would come to him with different ideas, and I wanted to sell new homes. Oh, Mary, stay in your position. It was way overqualified. Not only did I get into new homes, I basically won every new home's qualification there was, and ended up starting my own new home development company, and won new home development for the city, and my development company won new home development for the year from the Secretary of HUD, Alfonso Jackson, which came to St. Louis. I told him I wanted to basically shoot for the agent of the month for the office. He said, "Oh, Mary, you'll never beat Tom, so don't even try it." Not only did I win new agent for the month, I won new agent for the office for the year. Listing, sales written, and sales closed. So, I always love people to tell me what I can't do. And it was only through the grace of God. And it was amazing how I did it. I remember how real estate was. It's not about me. Let me explain something to you. When I'm doing this, let me tell you how I did it, though. I didn't do it by me bragging on sales. I remember when I first went into the office and I did real estate for 6 months, the way that real estate is done. Somebody calls in and says they want to look at a house. The way the industry did it is you go out and you show them the home. Well, the bad thing is you show them that home. What happens is that person that you show a home to, then you come back and you write a contract. That person isn't even approved for a loan. You write a contract, they close, and they then go get approved. But after they pay for appraisal, after they pay for a building inspection, after they pay for a termite inspection, after they pay for the flea gas inspection, they've got out of pocket about $2,000. Then they go see if they get approved for a loan. Well, two things can happen. Well, three.